In 2019, doctors Daniel Friedman and Karim Khan wrote a preview titled Preventing Overdiagnosis and the Harms of Too Much Sport and Exercise Medicine. They write about the emergence of a system that empowers sports medicine clinicians and therapists to turn athletes into patients when they experience pain beyond the norm. Kia ora team, Brad here for the Run Experience, and today I have a very pressing message that every runner needs to hear. Now, we live in a society that is not geared towards self-efficacy and common sense. Now stay tuned to find out what self-efficacy is and why it's so important. Now in this report I was talking about, the 4 key elements of the system according to Friedman and Khan are: 1, the belief among clinicians that more intervention yields better outcomes. 2, so-called diagnosis creep, where the definition of injury just keeps expanding. 3, the commercialisation of sports medicine and injury treatment, i.e. the financial gains made. 4, increased accessibility of sports medicine and injury treatment services. Now I'd like to add a 5th element. In the past, young athletes would learn about injury and pain management from coaches and parents. The common sense approach was, if, say, your knee began to bother you at training, then you would tell your coach, who, if they had a common sense and an athlete-centered ethos, would decrease that load and give some stretches and then gradually get them back as they were able. Now these days, the busy coaches palm off athletes to physiotherapists and sports docs who sometimes promote too much therapist reliance and hyper-medicalise the situation. Now obviously, there is a place for this expertise, but most non-serious injuries can be managed with deload, basic flexibility and within capacity strengthening, plus the mindset of continuing to train around the injury. For example, if a young soccer player tweaked their knee, they could continue to train with the group, but maybe bring their bike for the cardio running work and participate in ball drills at walking and then slow jog speed so as not to irritate that healing environment. Most niggles will come right within 10 days to 3 weeks, maybe 3 to 6 weeks if they're more serious. Some oversight might be needed from the sports medicine community, but I would suggest 2 to 3 times a week passive treatment for injuries that will most likely come right with activity modification and a deloading and then reloading plan is far too excessive. Every time the sports medicine team diagnose a problem, order scans, then give out medicalised terms that can be Googled, or hands are laid on athletes to promote a fix, sports docs and therapists are subconsciously promoting a patient injury role, moving them away from an empowered athlete and decreasing their self-efficacy. If you believe that you must receive a clear diagnosis to cure your injury and pain, then you've probably been medicalised. There is no need to call a physiotherapist every time you experience a niggle. There are of course exceptions. For most niggles, you can work on your own ability to manage that pain and injury, working on your self-efficacy. So, what is self-efficacy? Well, a psychologist, Albert Bandura, defined the concept in 1977 as a person's belief in their ability to succeed in a particular situation. Self-efficacy varies from person to person, and individuals with high levels of it tend to be happier, healthier, and more successful. Self-efficacy is highly responsive to experience. Bandura talked about mastery experiences being the most effective way to enhance self-efficacy. The experiences have to be specifically related to a particular task. Now, this message is for everyone, but it's far more appropriate for the overly anxious people with low self-efficacy. If you seek a medical opinion for any tweak or niggle within a few days of getting it, and you feel trapped in the medical system waiting for the correct diagnosis or a scan to see a specialist or to be fixed, then why not try working on your injury with some common sense? Deload, keep training around the healing environment, flex your self-efficacy muscle. You might discover that if you provide the body with a healing environment, don't get anxious and catastrophize the situation, most of these niggles will get better. Now, as always, I'm not suggesting that medical doctors and therapists don't have a place, and you should always consult them if your injury is getting worse, even with this common sense approach. Now, I've been a physiotherapist for over 25 years. Now, one bit of advice that I'd give you if you are seeing a therapist for your sports injury is make sure you feel part of the process, that you're empowered with lots of home exercise programs and that you're not seen too regularly. If you've been booked for 12 appointments over the next couple of months, I would really question that. I really don't think that's an ethical thing to do. So let us know below your experiences with the sports medicine industry. Do you feel helpless and overwhelmed with medical jargon? Are you going back for countless passive treatments week after week, or do you feel part of the treatment process and empowered with lots of active exercises that you can do at home? Our goal here at the Run Experience is to empower you in your lifelong fitness and wellness journey. We have an app to help you with mobility, flexibility, strength routines that will prevent injuries in the first place, and running plans that will progress at your pace so the journey is enjoyable and you get to the start of the race with confidence in your ability. So get out there, get strong, empowered and able. Work on your self-efficacy, champion compassion, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.